Who invented the 7-day week? Why do we follow this week? As melanin-dominant people, also known as Bantus, counting our years using a wrong week. Is that right? How long has this 7-day week existed? Why are there 7 days in a week? Is the Sabbath day or Sunday the Lord's day? Why are these questions vital? Because in melanin-dominant human thought, time and space is that these are cyclical, and that the calendar is not only an arbitrary organization of days and management of days, of months, of years, but are a record of the spiritual and physical order in which the divinities, revered ancestors, and also all of us will have a role to play and ability to manipulate the affairs of the universe. That is, as long as melanin-dominant humans, the direct descendants of the ancient people, now alive, live a cultural congruent life, which is also ancestral spiritual congruent living. So this is very, very important, and we need to look at it and move forward. This preacher Rabbi Elem Dumizulu of Marfado family. I am a committician. The mission statement of our Marfado family group is that we are here to help every melanin-dominant human experience effective cultural congruence by interacting with the revered ancestors and divinities. And that is our vision. The title of our talk today is The Magnificent History of Our Lost Week. So let's look first who invented the 7-day week. The 7-day week originates from the calendar of the Babylonians, which in turn is based on a Sumerian calendar dated to the 21st century B.C.E. They divided the 30-day month into 4 periods, each of them consisting of either 7 or 8 days. But we Bantus are not Babylonians or Sumerians, though we gave these people life as well as civilization. So why do we follow these days and this calendar? As melanin-dominant people, also known as Bantus, if we continue counting our years using a wrong week, we will not live cultural congruent lives. We lose our connection with our past, and we forget our identity, our ancestors, and the divinities, and we become spiritual slaves and physical slaves. Why are there 7 days in a week? Is this our tradition? Was this invented by our ancestors? Should we follow this? The reason why there are 7 days in a week is because the 7 days corresponds to the time it takes for moon to transition between each phase: full, waning, half, new, and waxing half, shown here. Because the moon cycle is 29.53 days long, the Babylonians would insert 1 or 2 days into the final week of each month to balance it. Did our ancestors copy this? Is this the right way? Let's continue to study this. As we continue to look at this, let us also remember that we need to give proof that we become slaves and end up celebrating a wrong heritage, where millions of Bantus now keep the Sabbath and festivals and other Bible holidays, thinking that this is the law from the Creator, not realizing that it is a law from a deity. In their normal 7-day week, the Babylonians held the 7th day of each week holy. So the law, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, is suspect. Babylon became a world nation during the time of Nebuchadnezzar, who ruled in B.C. 605 to 562, thousands of years later than our ancestors. But remember, our ancestral origins begins 3 billion years ago. This is the Babylonian calendar, and this is Nebuchadnezzar. This is not our heritage. When you go into the book of Genesis, in which the 7-day account of creation plays an introductory role, and we know that it was rewritten again around 500 BCE in Babylon, it is very clear that the Jews incorporated the cycle of 7 days from the Babylonian calendar. You can read Enuma Elish, the Atrahasis, which was in circulation 3,800 years ago. The Jews adopted not only Babylonian months, their names, but also the entire Babylonian calendar, which we have shown. This calendar was lunar, with each month beginning at the site of a new moon. In fact, the word Sabbath, which a lot of us attached to, or were attached to, comes from Hebrew Shabbat, meaning day of rest, which in turn comes from the Hebrew Shabbath, meaning he rested, thus resting in homage to God, a deity, resting on the seventh day after creating the universe. This is not an aspect that is connected with us. The cuneiform documents contain a term Sabbatu or Sabbatum, identical in form and meaning with the Hebrew word Shabbaton. Shabbatum is a reference to a day when one must be careful not to arouse the anger of the god who was supposed to preside over that particular day. So it is very clear that the earliest Babylonian Shabbat, during that time, they worshipped and honored Marduk with rest. Some say the lesser gods and people and slaves performed work and the duties to worship Marduk. In the Babylonian account, the Babylonian festival, the Sabbath, work was for the common people, but the rest was for the gods or their divinities, as shown here, Marduk here, and they are worshipping Marduk on the Sabbath. Therefore, the Sabbath and the feast days in the Torah are of Babylonian and not Bantu origins. They are Bantu ones, but they have not been practiced or put in the Bible. There is the proof. These are the Hebrew and Babylonian names here that are used now. Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Dumuz, a deity from Babylon, and Adare or Shevat. All these are, or Shabbatu, which is your Sabbath here. These are Babylonian. There is no divinity which we can call the creator divinity there. So Isaiah 47:13 in the New Catholic Encyclopedia, because the Catholics are the ones that gave a lot of you the Bible that you follow. They say, especially after the Babylonian exile, a number of significant enduring changes occurred in Israelite calendar, showing that the Jews gradually adopted the Babylonian calendar of the time. The 7-day week persisted despite its failure to divide evenly either the month or the year. The day, however, was counted from evening to evening after the Babylonian fashion, opposite the origins of all this issue of time. Since the Hebrews claimed that they were enslaved in Hamit and that their prophet learned all that he learned in Hamit, it is clear that the Torah that is there today is mixed up. For example, in Hamit, days are counted from sunrise to next sunrise, and the Sabbath is a completely different fish. Let us now look into ancient Hamit before Babylon ever became a separate nation from Africa. Even the origins of the names of the days that we have already shown are pagan. Ancient Mesopotamian astrologers assigned each day to the name of a god. The Greeks later called these days Theon and Merai, days of the gods. But before we come home, let us follow this trail a little bit. The Jewish tradition also observes a 7-day week, right? The Romans also inherited this system from Babylonian tradition, though they didn't begin using it until the statement of Julian calendar in the 1st century B.C.E. But we know that the Greeks and the Romans are one and the same thing. So the days of the week that we have today, Monday, Dies Lunae, Tuesday, Dies Martis, or Mars Day, Wednesday, Dies Mercury, or Day of Mercury, Hermes, Messenger, all this they took from Hamit. Thursday, Thursday, Zeus Day or Sky God, or Horesu Day. You can see Horesu here. Friday, Dies Veneris, days of the Venus, Aphrodite, goddess of love. Saturday, Dies Saturni, or day of Saturn, or Cronus spelled this way, or Titan, father of the of Zeus. Constantine, the first Christian Roman emperor, made the 7-day week official in 321 AD. Due to the influence of both Rome and Christianity, this system has stuck in most regions of the world ever since. So our ancestors didn't create this. This was created out of the panel beating of our ancestral calendar by the Babylonians, the Jews, the Greeks, and the Romans, their cousins. On the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates, and on the venerable day of the sun, let the magistrates and the people residing in cities rest, and let all workshops be closed. Constantine on the 7th of March 321 AD. We are giving specific times here. Emphasis will be placed on the powerful practice of traditional wisdom of mysticism. It is no exaggeration that knowing and appreciating our Ubuntu calendar draws us closer to our revered ancestors and divinities. How does that happen? Because the knowledge and the practice of that incident and those instances collapses space and time, essentially activating the ancestors inside us and the divinities that are hovering around our lives or around our being as halos, the Merkaba. Like a plant, we are rooted into our past, and like the sun, the divinities give us knowledge as long as we do not hide under other philosophies via cultural incongruence. One of the oldest calendar systems that is older than Babylon, older than Rome, than Christianity, Islam, or Jews, is found in Africa, where the astronomical knowledge is as old as the people themselves, 3.5 billion years ago. So we are showing here one of the calendars, the Nabla Playa, found in Savannah, and how all went to the Dogon, the Yoruba, the Igbo, and the Bantus in Southern Africa, and also pre-dynastic Hamid. We select pre-dynastic Hamid to rediscover the magnificent history of our lost week. The Egyptian calendar is the first calendar of history. 4236 BCE. Every 365 days, the cycles of the Nile's flood repeat. New Year at the summer solstice, when Sirius, the star, rises parallel to the sun. So how many days of the week are in this calendar? Each of the 12 months contained 3 weeks. The work week consisted of 9 days. 9, which is the soul, which is your soul, your activity of the soul. 9. And the 10th was the day of rest. Counting was always decimal because of the fingers that our ancestors used to count. They were the first to devise a 24-hour day, Wenyut, with a standardized 12 hours for daylight and a 12 to mark passing of the night in the tropics, not anywhere else outside of the tropics. You can never devise a calendar outside the tropics. So our seasons, even anywhere amongst the Bantu, consisted of 3 seasons of 120 days each, which gives you 666, which also gives you 360. And this 360 would be added to it the 5 epagomenal days, or the conversion of each year via the divinities. So, followed by one day, our ancestors knew of the day of rest, Chisi. The Shona, a sub-tribe of the Bakaranga in Zimbabwe, recognized a 30-day lunar month divided into 3 10-day weeks. They still have a day of rest called Chisi, which is a holiday. Chisi is the day of rest in honor of the ancestors, the guardians of the land and the divinity. So after we learned this and realized what we have said, we realized that colonialism destroyed African culture. It introduced a 7-day week from Babylonia via Greco-Roman Christianity. Millions keep Sabbath thinking it's a holiday. It's not. It's a day celebrating a Babylonian deity. Holding in esteem the 7-day week is us paying homage to colonial ancestors and the process that delinks us and our lives from our magnificent history, which we are showing here. And this is how it has been done through the gun and violence and through indoctrination by religion. And this is how we are supposed to live with our ancestors and divinities. By celebrating our new year 6258 on sunrise 22/09/2021 to sunrise 23/09/2021, you will be making a powerful declaratory physical and spiritual confirmation and help liberating millions of melanin dominant human beings. So welcome aboard. We are on the move. If you are interested, send your specific message to us via our email john@marifado.com, so that as a melanin dominant human being you can start to have a cultural congruent living. This is spiritual Rabbi Elem Dumizulu of Marifado saying thank you, tatenda, siabonga, and tupe enko. Still meet again. Subscribe to our channel, Amiti Iburu Ethic. Have a great day.